Under the blazing sun of ancient Thebes, where sand met eternity, the artisans of the pharaoh began their sacred task. This was no ordinary work of gold. It was a promise of immortality. A mask that would carry their king's spirit through eternity, into the light of the gods. Every grain of sand, every drop of molten gold, was touched by reverence. Here, in the shadow of the temples, men labored not for glory, but for divinity. Far beyond the Nile's curve, deep in the desert quarries, miners sought the flesh of the gods, pure gold, the metal of the sun. The air shimmered with heat, their skin bronzed with dust and sweat, their hearts driven by devotion. In every strike of the chisel, they heard the voice of Ra, commanding them to gather what would one day shine as the pharaoh's eternal face. In workshops scented with incense and myrrh, the finest craftsmen of Egypt gathered. Their tools were primitive, yet their skill divine. They melted the gold in clay furnaces, feeding the flames with palm wood until it danced like the desert sun. As the molten metal glowed, reflections of fire shimmered on their faces, and in that glow, they saw more than gold. They saw eternity. Gold alone was not enough. The gods demanded perfection, balance in color, texture, and spirit. Into the crucible went powdered lapis lazuli, symbol of heaven, and fine copper dust for life's energy. The mixture hissed and swirled like captured lightning. The alchemists whispered blessings to Ta, patron of artisans, as the sacred alloy took form, radiant and eternal. In silence, the master craftsman laid the golden sheet upon a smooth stone. His mallet rose and fell with perfect rhythm, the heartbeat of creation. Each strike shaped not just metal but memory. Around him, apprentices watched in awe as light bent across the curves of forming gold. The mask was alive already, though it had yet to breathe. The artisan sculpted every contour from life, the serene eyes, the calm smile, the divine symmetry. For this was not a likeness of a man, but a vessel for a soul. Each brushstroke of fine tool work honored the pharaoh's eternal rest. As the mask began to gleam, the workers bowed their heads. They were not creating an object, they were shaping eternity. Once the mask was formed, it was carried to the temple courtyard under daylight. Priests chanted hymns to Anubis, god of death, and Hathor, goddess of rebirth. The mask glowed under the sun, as if acknowledging the prayers whispered into its gold. The priests anointed it with sacred oils, tracing hieroglyphs of life. Ankh, Jed, was symbols of divine power and protection. The eyes were carved last, deep lapis pupils surrounded by obsidian rims. As the stones were set, a hush fell over the chamber. The artisans swore they saw the mask blink, or perhaps it was just the reflection of the sun. Either way, they knew. The spirit had begun to awaken. Drums echoed across the desert as priests carried the mask through Thebes. Sunlight poured over its surface, dazzling the crowd gathered in silence. The journey led toward the tomb, where the body of the pharaoh awaited its face, the face that would greet the gods. Every step was slow, deliberate, eternal. As the final stone was pushed into place, the desert wind carried their chants toward the sun. Inside, in the eternal quiet, the mask rested upon the king's body, gleaming faintly through the dark. Outside, priests bowed. The mask's light faded from sight, but not from memory. And so, the mask, a symbol of faith, craftsmanship, and divinity, became the pharaoh's doorway to the heavens. As his soul merged with the sun, the artisan's work lived forever. Their creation was not merely gold, it was eternity itself.